back in the year 897, inside the grand Basilica of St. John Lateran in Rome, an unbelievable and eerie scene unfolded. There sat Pope Formosus, dressed in his full papal robes, perched on a throne, as if he were about to lead an important council. But this wasn't a normal church gathering, it was a trial. And the strangest part? Pope Formosus had been dead for months. At that time, Rome was in complete turmoil. Between 872 and 965, the papal throne changed hands an incredible 24 times. Sometimes a new pope every year or two. Our story focuses on Formosus, who had already been in the grave for about 9 months, when his name would become the center of one of the most bizarre trials in history. To understand why this happened, we need to step back and look at Rome and Italy in the late 800s. Political intrigue, power struggles, and constant conflicts defined the era. The papacy was caught in a dangerous game between local dukes, kings, and emperors. Rome itself was a shadow of its glorious past, its buildings crumbling, wild animals roaming the ruins, and most people crowded into a small portion of the city while the popes sought safety behind Vatican walls. Formosus had long been a significant figure in the church. He started as the Bishop of Porto, a town close to Rome, and was sent on important missions to faraway lands like Bulgaria and Constantinople. But he had a talent for making enemies. His alliance with Arnulf of Carinthia, a powerful Frankish king aiming to become king of Italy, angered Pope John VIII, who feared that Rome could lose its independence under a foreign emperor. Eventually, Formosus was exiled and forced to flee. He hid in northern Italy, waiting for his chance to return. His patience worked. By 883, he was reinstated as Bishop of Porto, and in 891, he rose to the highest position in the church. He became pope. However, being pope in those times was more dangerous than glorious. Popes were regularly deposed, imprisoned, or even killed. Formosus tried to navigate the treacherous political landscape carefully. He distrusted Guy III of Spoleto, the King of Italy and Holy Roman Emperor, so he invited Arnulf to invade Italy. He even crowned Arnulf as the new Holy Roman Emperor, hoping it would protect Rome. But this act made Formosus deeply unpopular with many Italian nobles. To some, he was a righteous and courageous pope. To others, he was a traitor, siding with foreign powers. In 896, Pope Formosus died. Some whispered of poison, but others said he simply passed from old age at 80. Most people would assume that death would end his troubles, but they were wrong. After him came Pope Boniface VI, whose papacy lasted a mere 15 days. Then came Pope Stephen VI, who had once supported Formosus but now turned against him with a burning hatred. Stephen decided to put Formosus on trial, even though he was dead. In early 897, Stephen ordered Formosus's body to be exhumed. Dressed in full papal vestments, the corpse was propped up on a throne in the Basilica of St. John Lateran. Cardinals, bishops, and priests filled the church, witnessing one of the strangest events in church history. Stephen acted as both judge and accuser, shouting questions at the lifeless body. Why did you abandon your diocese of Porto? By what right did you become pope? Of course, the dead pope could not respond, so a terrified young deacon was assigned to speak on his behalf. The scene was surreal. Stephen would accuse the corpse, pause as if expecting a reply, and the trembling deacon would mumble a defense. To make matters worse, or perhaps more ominous, an earthquake struck the church in the middle of the trial. Some saw it as a sign from God, but Stephen continued as if nothing happened. Unsurprisingly, the verdict was guilty. But what punishment could a dead man face? Stephen had ideas. He declared all of Formosus's actions as Pope invalid. Every blessing, ordination, and appointment was canceled. Then, in a shocking display, he had the corpse stripped of its robes, dressed in rags, and the 3 fingers used for giving the blessings were cut off. Finally, the body was tossed into the Tiber River. Why all this? Because in those times, the remains of holy figures were considered sacred. They could become relics or even objects of veneration. By disgracing the body and dumping it in the river, Stephen hoped to erase Formosus's legacy entirely. But Rome had seen enough. This grotesque cadaver synod, as history would later call it, was too much, even for the Romans. A furious mob rose against Stephen VI. He was imprisoned and, not long after, strangled to death. The chaos continued. Pope Romanus lasted only a few months, and Pope Theodore II survived just 20 days. Finally, Pope John IX ended the madness. He nullified the corpse trial and officially banned any future trials of dead popes. And so, the Cadaver Synod became one of the strangest and darkest chapters in the history of the Catholic Church. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey through history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss our next adventure.